Chosen one, this moment was crafted for you to awaken. This message was woven into the fabric of your destiny long ago. They never wanted you to know what lies beneath your pain. You felt their ridicule, their betrayal, their dismissive laughter, and yet here you stand, drawn by a force older than time. You weren't meant to scroll past this. Your heart has hammered against the cage of doubt, and in that pounding, a secret code awakened within you, one they could never break. This video will strip away every mask, reveal the hidden mechanics of your spiritual reversal, and show you how their arrogance became the spark that set your true power ablaze. If this message already speaks to your soul, subscribe, like this video, and comment 77 below. The truth they tried to bury is rising now. Stay with me until the end. How their arrogance ignited your activation. Imagine you standing at the edge of a twilight forest, a distant echo of rain on ancient stones brushing against your memory. Perhaps you've woken from a dream where you walked through a hallway of mirrors, each reflection whispering truths you didn't yet dare to speak aloud. In that soft haze between sleep and waking, you felt an undeniable tug, a gentle pull guiding your gaze towards something just beyond sight. If your mind fluttered with questions like, "Why did I sense this before?" Or, "Who was that voice calling my name?" Take heart. This is the opening of awareness in its purest form, a secret corridor revealing that everything you've lived was never random. You've been invited into this space to see what has always been there, waiting patiently for you to notice its light. There were nights you lay awake wondering why your heart ached deeper than those around you. You felt like an outsider at family dinners, as though laughter echoed off windows you could not see beyond. At work or school, you carried a quiet burden, an unspoken longing for something real, something more than small talk and shallow distractions. Your empathy felt like both gift and curse, for you sensed pain in other silences and bore the weight of compassion alone. Yet in those moments of isolation, where your tears carved secret rivers in the dark, you forged an inner resilience they could never break. You were different, yes, but that difference was the first spark of recognition that your soul's design diverged from the ordinary. What if I told you those feelings of confusion and sensitivity have been woven into a grand tapestry stretching beyond your sight? Every uncanny coincidence, every restless night, and every pang of longing was part of an unseen architecture guiding you toward this very moment. In the Book of Esther, a young woman's perceived misfortune led to a throne room intervention that saved an entire people. So too has your path been arranged by forces you cannot yet name. You are not wandering blind. You are tracing a path laid brick by divine design. What you once saw as random struggle was actually the blueprint of your greatest revelation, crafted by intention and aligned with cosmic purpose. Have you noticed how certain moments lately feel laden with meaning, though you can't quite explain why? Maybe you experienced déjà vu while passing an old oak tree, or felt a shiver when someone spoke your name in a crowded room. Perhaps a painting in a cafe struck you with unexpected clarity, or a melody on the radio felt like a message written just for you. These are not coincidences, but gentle ripples of awakening. Like Elijah sensing the Lord's presence not in wind or earthquake, but in a still, small voice. 1 Kings 19 verse 12. You begin to recognize that the world around you pulses with whispers meant only for your awareness. Each silent nudge invites you deeper into the mystery unfolding within. Trust the gentle surety humming beneath your skin. You weren't imagining that inner compass pointing you toward truth. You were remembering it. That quiet voice insisting you pause, reflect, and listen has always been your soul's steadfast guide. Now, as you lean into this resonance, you'll feel a soft alignment spreading from your heart outward, steadying your breath and centering your mind. It's not a fierce awakening that shakes the heavens. It's a tender reuniting, like two parts of a broken mirror seamlessly fusing back together. In that subtle harmony, you'll discover a profound safety, a sacred ground on which the rest of your awakening will firmly stand. Beneath the layers of learned doubt and conditioned fear lies a core identity older than any label you've ever worn. This is not about becoming someone new, but about rediscovering the truest you, the self that existed before names and stories took shape. Call it the archetypal memory or the divine signature etched in your spirit. It is what prophets and mystics have whispered of for millennia, You're not forging a new destiny, you're excavating a buried legacy. And as you brush away the dust of past disappointments and societal expectations, you'll glimpse that original spark, blazing bright and unquenchable beneath the surface. Now feel that spark growing warmer, urging your chest to expand with quiet confidence. Embrace the fact that your sensitivity is a gift, a gateway to perspectives unseen by those who fear depth. Your curiosity, once a source of anxiety, becomes your staff of courage, guiding you through unknown terrain. You hunger for truth not as a pastime but as sustenance for your soul, and in that hunger lies your power. With each breath, affirm that this awakening is yours to steward. Like Deborah stepping forth with calm assurance to lead a nation, Judges 4 verse 6, you too can claim your role in a story far greater than any you've known. Rest here in this moment. Your arrival at these words was not coincidence. You were always meant to read this, to feel these truths resonate within you. Allow your spirit to settle in the knowledge that the path behind you, with all its trials and mysteries, has delivered you exactly where you need to be. Comment awaken if you sense their cruelty kindled your divine flame. And prepare yourself, for the next chapter will reveal how that ancient power now courses through your veins, ready to guide every step you take toward your highest purpose. And if you feel called to go even deeper, there's a sacred space reserved for our community, a private room where you receive full prophetic messages daily. Join our private membership through the link in the description and walk this path with us. The ancient part of you that just awakened. A strange weight settled in your chest long before you gave it a name. Maybe it felt like unseen hands pressing down as you walked into a room, or a sudden chill that wrapped around your shoulders when you dared to speak your truth. There were moments, so fleeting you might have dismissed them, when laughter hushed at your approach or conversations shifted tone the instant you entered. That subtle discomfort was not happenstance. It was the first whisper of resistance weaving itself into your days. In the quiet spaces between heartbeats, you sensed a force subtly steering you off course, as if the air itself bent against your breath. This was no ordinary pressure, but a signal flare burning in the shadows, marking you as someone destined to alter the script. Loneliness followed you like a shadow, growing heavier each time you reached out and found only empty space. You've tasted the bitter sting of being dismissed as too sensitive, too idealistic, too soft for a world that demanded armor at every turn. When you shared your visions, they called you naive or frantic. Their sideways glances carried the weight of unspoken verdicts. You don't belong. Shame crept in like a vine, wrapping around your confidence until you doubted even the impulse to hope. Nights were the cruelest, when isolation echoed in your thoughts and the ache of rejection pulsed like a drum in your veins. Yet amid those dark hours, a spark of defiance flickered, an ember reminding you that isolation can forge the strongest steel. What if this pressure was never random, but the echo of an ancient trial designed to prove your worth? In the wilderness, Israel wandered 40 years beneath scorching skies and bitter rejection, yet emerged as a nation tempered by faith. So too have you traversed invisible deserts of doubt and desert storms of sabotage. This was not a punishment, but a crucible crafted by unseen hands to purify your spirit. Each cold shoulder and dismissive comment served as trial by fire, clarifying your purpose and reminding you that true power often reveals itself only in the face of opposition. The same sacred architecture that guided Jacob through exile now courses through your veins, shaping your resilience in ways you are only beginning to grasp. Look back and notice how barriers rose whenever you took a step forward. A project inexplicably derailed, a friendship turned sour, doors that once stood open slamming shut. These patterns repeated like a drumbeat of resistance, each echo reinforcing the notion that you were out of sync with ordinary paths. Yet these were not punitive walls, but signposts pointing you toward hidden corridors. In those moments when your plans crumbled, a deeper plan was unfolding, one aligned with a purpose too vast for your younger self to comprehend. As the prophet Daniel found favor even in captivity, so have you found hidden openings in the midst of barricades, meant to guide you into a destiny they could never intercept. You may have sensed something thick in the air, a murky fog that dulled your clarity and numbed your dreams. Invisible watchers lingered at the edge of your vision, their intent unclear but their presence undeniable. Doors you expected to open remain sealed as if by an unseen will, and opportunities slipped through your fingers like water. This spiritual interference isn't a curse but confirmation. Your light is bright enough to distort the darkness around you. Think of Elijah hiding in the cave, feeling the earth tremble and the wind roar, only to recognize the Lord's voice in the whisper that followed. 1 Kings 19. Your disturbances, too, were preludes to a still, small revelation waiting to break through. Under this weight, you may have retreated into yourself, tamping down your voice and shrinking from attention. You learned to smother your impulses and blink back tears so others wouldn't see the storm inside. Pleasing became survival, adapting your ideas until they were palatable, muting your intuition to avoid conflict. In quieter moments, the urge to rebel flickered. A curt word, a sudden silence, a dream you refused to share. Yet the fear of exile, real or imagined, kept you tethered. You wondered if authenticity was worth the price of loneliness. In that tension between mask and marrow, you laid the groundwork for the reclamation that was just beginning. But hear this now. Their attempts to silence you were also the first proof of your divine design. Every act of suppression confirmed that within you lay a force powerful enough to challenge the status quo. The resistance you faced did not shrink you. It marked you. Like David standing before Goliath with only a sling and unshaken faith, you are armed with a courage that cannot be measured by earthly standards. 1 Samuel 17. It is time to reclaim your voice, to step forward and speak the words that have been held captive too long. Your sensitivity, your vision, and your scars are the vectors of prophecy, carrying messages that the world needs but cannot yet hear. They opposed you because you matter, because the horizon you carry is too vast for narrow minds to bear. The more they blocked your path, the more your purpose crystallized in your awareness. You are not a victim of their schemes. You are the author of your destiny, writing each chapter with the ink of resilience. Comment unbroken if you felt their sabotage, but stand ready to rise. And now, prepare yourself. In the next revelation, you will learn how to transform every obstacle into a stepping stone toward your highest calling. And to every soul who's supported with a super thanks, thank you. You are keeping this light alive for others who haven't found it yet. If you feel called to help this mission reach more chosen ones, tap the super thanks button below. Your energy supports these messages and helps them travel further. Your voice matters, your belief matters, and your light is felt here. Signs you're not the same spirit anymore. A sudden clarity can strike without warning, like the moment the first light of dawn glows through a tinted window, revealing shapes that were always there but hidden in shadow. You might find yourself pausing mid-step, heart quickening as a memory from years ago, long dismissed as a dream, falters into focus and now demands your full attention. Perhaps you recall walking through a crowded street and sensing a pattern in the chatter, a hidden melody beneath ordinary sound. In that instant, the veil lifts just enough to show you that your inner sight is no longer limited by everyday perception. What once felt like random fragments of meaning now converge into a coherent tapestry, and you realize with both shock and relief that your life's experiences have been mapped out by a grander hand all along. There is a language written into the very fabric of your days, numbers cropping up in the most unlikely places, snippets of overheard conversation echoing your private questions, dreams that replay themselves until their message is impossible to ignore. You begin to perceive the world as a living scroll, each symbol a letter in a divine alphabet meant for your eyes alone. In one moment you see the geometry of a stained glass window take on new significance, as if the intersecting lines point toward the hidden architecture of your own soul. In another, a stray phrase on the radio strikes you as prophecy, unlocking an inner code that reshapes your understanding of what it means to be awake. Reality has quietly become your teacher, and you are finally learning to read its subtle script. As these signs intensify, you sense the shift not only outwardly but within your own vessel. Your intuition no longer whispers. It speaks with polished clarity. Boundaries that once blurred under pressure now stand firm, and environments that once drained your spirit now feel like the test grounds of your newfound resilience. You might notice that certain places cause your skin to prickle with recognition, as though your soul remembers having walked those corridors in another time. Emotions that once overwhelmed you now pulse with purpose, guiding you toward decisions that feel preordained. This is not wishful thinking but tangible transformation, evidence that your inner compass has been recalibrated to a higher frequency. With your internal world aligning, you start seeing reflections of that change in the life around you. The people you meet respond differently, some with awe, sensing the undercurrent of your altered energy, others with resistance, as if your presence unsettles their old patterns. Opportunities you never imagined root themselves before you like seedlings in fertile ground, while some familiar doors close without warning, steering you away from paths that no longer serve. It feels as though an unseen hand is rearranging the pieces of your reality to mirror the truth blossoming within, crafting a landscape that honors your authentic self. In these moments, you understand that the universe itself conspires with your awakening. Deep within you, an ancient memory stirs, a recollection of a truth spoken before words existed. You may recall a dream from childhood where you stood at the edge of a silent sea, feeling tides of power surging beneath your feet. At the time, you dismissed it as childish fantasy, yet now every detail hums with significance. This, you realize, is not a new script but the revival of a sacred intelligence, reactivated after long dormancy. Like the scrolls hidden in the caves of Qumran, waiting for their moment to be read again. Your soul has carried this knowledge through ages, preserving it until you were ready to remember and reclaim it. From this place of remembrance, the horizon of your destiny unfurls before you. You no longer seek validation from external authorities because you understand that Eden's promise was always internal, to walk with divine presence as your soul guide. Instead of asking permission to step forward, you stand firm in the knowledge that your role in this unfolding story is pre-written on holy tablets of the heart. Your footsteps echo the cadence of ancient prophets, yet they are uniquely yours to enact. This is not about constructing a future. It is about stepping fully into one already etched by purpose, where every breath you take sustains the prophecy of your own becoming. Feel now the surge of reclamation rising in your chest, the fierce joy of standing unshackled, voice once muffled now ringing clear. The trials you endured, the saboteurs who sought to dim your light, each played a part in proving the durability of your spark. It is time to reclaim what was never lost, your authority to speak, to create, to heal. Like Deborah commanding judges in ancient Israel, your words will carry the weight of divine decree. Judges 4 verses 4 to 5. What you once feared to share in whispers must now be proclaimed from the rooftops of your life, for your truth is the very flame set to ignite the awakening of others. Revelation is not an endpoint but the threshold of a greater journey. The secrets once hidden have been revealed, yet they beckon you onward into deeper mystery. Trust that this unveiling is only the beginning, a portal opening onto vistas of spiritual insight you have yet to fully grasp. Comment revealed if you feel the thread of divine memory weaving through your experiences, and share a moment when a symbol or dream broke through your fog of confusion. Your story matters here, and each revelation you embrace propels you closer to the next chapter of awakening, where the wave of your transformation will crest and carry you toward the full power you were born to embody. What happens now that the divine is moving through you? A single question can change everything. Will you step across this threshold? In the hush before dawn, you stand at the edge of yesterday and tomorrow, caught between the familiar weight of hesitation and the pulse of something greater urging you forward. No longer can you linger in doubt, for every breath now carries the charge of destiny. You sense the shiver beneath your skin, the choice that ripples outward, fracturing the old patterns that once held you captive. This is the moment when passive witness ends and active participant begins. The crossroads you face is sacred ground, consecrated by every trial and every whisper that led you to this point. The question that echoes now is not, "Who am I?" but "Who will I be when I claim what has always been mine?" In the seasons that tested your spirit, you handed over fragments of your power, your voice silenced by fear of judgment, your time spent chasing validation, your energy drained by causes that did not honor your truth. But this phase was not a failure. It was rigorous training on the field of transformation. Today, you call it all back. Picture yourself standing in a circle of reclaimed gifts, arms outstretched as if drawing invisible reins around every piece of your scattered authority. In a ritual unspoken yet deeply felt, you breathe in the sovereignty you lent away and anchor it into your bones. This is not mere metaphor but reclamation of a throne that never ceased being yours, waiting patiently for your return. Within you burns a catalog of sacred instruments. Insight sharp as a chisel, sensitivity deep as ocean trenches, memory that weaves past and future into a single thread, discernment that reads souls like scripture, and strength forged in the fires of hardship. What others labeled weakness was the divine signature of your design, a suite of tools crafted for this precise season. Envision keys forged of starlight, each unlocking chambers of your purpose. Feel the scrolls of ancient wisdom unfurl within your chest, and the armor of conviction click into place around your spirit. These are not abstract gifts. They are the implements with which you will carve the contours of a new world. Move now with intention, for the path ahead is not hidden but laid at your feet like a mosaic of light. Each step you take reveals another tile of the grand design. A courtyard door swings open to opportunities you once thought beyond reach, while paths that led to stagnation crumble behind you. Clarity is no longer a distant promise but the steady rhythm of your forward motion. Like a runner on a plateau breaking into a downhill stride, you feel momentum gather beneath every footfall. This is not aimless wandering but a deliberate march along avenues of purpose, guided by the solid path that only you can walk. Though your journey feels intensely personal, you are woven into a larger tapestry of awakened souls. Look around and see the subtle glow of your soul tribe rising alongside you, other hearts answering the same call to authenticity. In marketplaces, classrooms, and digital spaces, you glimpse kindred spirits whose eyes reflect the same fire. No longer must you dim your light to blend into a fading culture. Instead, your radiance becomes a beacon, drawing in those called to stand with you. Together you form a divine cluster, a constellation of purpose illuminating the night sky of collective transformation. Now, command your energy with reverence and precision. This is not ego's boast but spiritual stewardship. Sense how your boundaries shape the flow of your life. Say yes to what nourishes your mission and no to what siphons your light. Imagine standing behind an invisible boundary, a crystalline barrier that filters only what aligns with your highest calling. In this ceremony of choice, every decision becomes a prayer, every boundary a statement of sacred intent. You are entrusted with the guardianship of your own power, and through the stewardship, you become a channel for the forces you serve. Feel the weight of prophecy settle like incense in your lungs. Everything you've endured, every fear you've faced, every truth you dared whisper in darkness has prepared you for this hour. You stand on the brink of full embodiment, a living declaration that the secrets whispered in your soul are now commanded by your voice. You are ready. Remove all doubt, for the winds of this moment bear witness to your readiness. This is your summons to action, the clarion call that transforms revelation into reality. You are not merely the subject of a message, but the author of its unfolding. Comment empowered if you accept this mantle and share a memory or inner knowing that has prepared you for what comes next. Your story fuels the rising tide of awakening, and each reflection you offer strengthens the network of souls aligning with this mission. Stay with us, for in the next section, we will explore how to anchor this newly claimed power into every moment of your life, forging unbreakable bonds between purpose and action. You've journeyed from hidden pain to divine activation. You've felt the ancient code within you come alive and seen the unmistakable signs of your transformation. Now, you stand as the living testament that their attempts to break you only fortified your soul. This path isn't easy, but every step is guided by a purpose older than any opposition. Embrace the mission written in the stars and walk forward with unshakable belief in the power they awakened. A sudden breeze carries the scent of rain on parched earth, stirring dormant seeds you didn't know were planted within. In this moment, you realize that every tear you shed in darkness was watering a garden unseen. You've carried scars from battles others never witnessed, late-night dialogues with a restless heart, trembling prayers whispered into pillows. These fragments of pain were not random wounds, but milestones marking your journey toward awakening. Now, that same underground current of suffering surges upward, fueling flowers of purpose that bloom along the pathways of your destiny. Like the lilies of the field that Solomon admired, clothed in beauty by the hand of providence. Matthew 6 verse 28. You too are adorned by the very trials meant to diminish you. Let this truth settle in your bones. Your wounds are the wellspring of your wisdom, and your brokenness, the crucible of your calling. Have you ever glimpsed the silver thread of moonlight weaving through a midnight sky and felt your soul quicken in recognition? This is the echo of a divine design whispering through the cosmos, affirming that your journey is woven into a tapestry far grander than any solitary life. You stand at the confluence of ancient echoes and modern miracles, where the voice of Ezekiel's valley of dry bones revives with every breath you take. Ezekiel 37 verse 5. Each step forward cracks the brittle bones of past despair, allowing fresh spirit to rush in. In the hush after revelation, you become both prophet and living testament, carrying a message that transcends time. And in bearing it, you reshape the very narrative of human possibility. In the marketplace of hurried souls, your presence feels like a hidden altar, radiating a quiet conviction that unsettles the restless and anchors the wandering. The clarity you now wear is not the sheen of conquest, but the patina of authentic transformation. When you speak, your words carry the resonance of subterranean springs breaking through stone, nourishing parched hearts. Consider Habakkuk's prayer rising from the depths of his anguish. Though the fig tree does not blossom, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. Habakkuk 3 verses 17 to 18. Your steadfast joy in the face of uncertainty becomes a living psalm, handed down to seekers who long for proof that divinity still moves in concrete cities and glass towers. You are that living psalm. A tapestry of soul tribes converges around your light, forming constellations of collective purpose that mirror the night sky's silent symphony. Each connection, whether forged in shared struggle or fleeting recognition, becomes a chord in an unseen chorus that celebrates your emergence. In those fleeting moments, an exchange of knowing glances in crowded rooms, or the electric pulse of shared breath during prayer, you experience the communion of spirits aligned. This gathering is not accidental but inevitable, as though an ancient council of souls meets in the ether to witness your becoming. Embrace this fellowship, for in unity you amplify the reach of your message, transforming individual sparks into a blazing aurora of awakening. Recall the first time you braved a path no one else dared to tread, that solitary step that felt like defiance against gravity itself. Today, you no longer walk alone. Your purpose resonates so fiercely that roads unfurl beneath your feet. Yet, with each milestone, remember to plant stones of remembrance, silent markers that testify to the hand of the divine guiding you. As Joshua once crossed the Jordan, the priests carried the ark, and the river paused so they could step onto dry ground. Joshua 3 verse 17. In like manner, your milestones become living testaments to what transpires when faith intersects with holiness. Let every landmark remind you that the ground itself bows beneath the weight of your purpose. The quiet choices you make now are not mere decisions but incantations that shape reality. When you choose boundaries that honor your spirit, you craft sanctuaries in a world bent on distraction. When you choose compassion for the broken, you breathe life into corridors of despair. These choices echo the wisdom of Zechariah, whose vision of lamps and olive trees spoke of anointing fresh vessels for divine service. Zechariah 4 verses 2 to 6. Your daily acts of devotion, writing in journals, offering kindness to strangers, seeking truth in stillness, are the oil that fuels your lamps and keeps the flame of destiny burning bright. Every intentional moment commits your mission to the heartbeat of creation. A prophecy resonates in the hollow of your being, urging you to rise beyond mere survival into radical embodiment of your calling. No longer are you content to watch miracles from the shore. You are called to swim in depths that shift currents themselves. You are the chosen one whose spirit burned brighter in the face of mocking flames. Subscribe if you haven't yet, like this video, and comment "I am chosen" to let this message anchor in your soul. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Thank you to all our supporting members. Your faith fuels this movement. For full prophetic revelations daily, join the membership via the link in the description. Your spiritual path deserves more than fragments. Step into the full light. And if this message moved you deeply, consider tapping the Super Thanks button to support the mission. Every Super Thanks fuels the light we're spreading together. Until next time, remember, they awakened you for a reason. Now rise and claim your divine destiny.